In the simple seventh grade classroom, there was a 12-year-old boy named Jake. Jake was just your average student in his English class with friends named Bob and Sue. But the one thing he wasn't ready for was the dreaded paper. None of them had ever written a paper before, but that all changed when Mrs. Roberts walked in and announced to the class that today would be their first writing assignment of the year, a 5-paragraph essay. Jake, being confused as to what a 5-paragraph essay was, turned and asked Bob and Sue what she was talking about. Bob answered him with explaining that an essay was a long paper that you have to write on a certain topic, and that paragraphs were what papers were broken up into. Jake hears this news and gets worried because he doesn't think that he will be able to accomplish this task. Little did he know that all you need is persistence, a quiet work area, and to make sure that you brainstorm. The teacher started passing out the assignment, and as soon as he got the piece of paper and read what exactly it entailed, he got very worried. The students had the class period to come up with their topic and write their topic out, with a brainstorming sheet prior to them beginning to write their paragraph. Miss Roberts sits down at her desk while the students begin to work. Jake stares off, thinking for a good amount of time, but can't for the life of him come up with an idea to write about. He begins to get discouraged, but after a bit, Miss Roberts notices Jake is having trouble and goes to him to ask if he needs any help. Jake is a bit embarrassed because all of the other students are working so well, but expresses that he cannot come up with a topic. Miss Roberts says, "Well, Jake, you should write about something you like doing, so it'll be more fun for you." After a few more minutes, Jake decides he will write about football because he enjoys the game so much. The thought of football gets him excited and he's ready to go, but he just can't seem to find a way to start. He turns to Sue and asks how she got started. She told him to do a little brainstorm. Get your ideas on paper in front of you. Jake begins to write down the things he loves most about football, and the next thing he knew, he had a full page of ideas, and he was amazed. All of a sudden, the class began to get really noisy, and Jake starts to lose his focus. He asks the teacher if he can work in the hallway because of the noise, and she allows him to do so. Now that he has all of his brainstorming and is in a quiet environment, all he has to do is take all of his information and make it into a full paragraph. All of the writing in front of him now all of a sudden seemed to look like a blur. He thought he had an idea about what he was doing, but no, he just doesn't know where to start exactly. He looks at the clock and contemplates giving up on the paragraph as a whole. He is so down on himself, and as soon as he is getting up to go back into the room to tell Miss Roberts he's calling it quits, Sue comes back from the bathroom. She asks if he is done, and he said no, and he was going to quit, but she responds telling him just to keep plugging along and he will get it done without a problem. So Jake sits back down, and after a few more minutes and a little bit more effort, the thoughts start to appear on paper. But right as the hour is ending, he finishes and proudly hands in his paper to Miss Roberts. Jake's persistence and proper work environment allowed him to finally finish his work, and he felt good about himself. All the things he did were not to waste, and Jake also shows us that we can all write a paper if we set our minds to it.